It's showtime. It's Practical AI, episode 14, with me, Chris Pearson, and our beloved producer, Olga. She's here. She's cooked up a great show for us again this week. We've got a very practical takeaway for you. We're going to kick off the show with that. We're going to enhance your video content creation workflow. We've talked about in the past how crucial short form video content creation is for getting any sort of visibility at all in social media, getting traction on your accounts, building an audience. We've got a great win for you there. And then we're going to talk about this week's biggest news, the AI job loss Armageddon.
Well,
it's upon us.
Some of the news, there's a lot to it, but yeah.
There's always lots of news in AI.
We try to keep it balanced, where a big kind of 30,000 feet overview what happened in the world they gotta remember, and then we're also going to have 3 demos today, which is going to be awesome. So we're going to talk about the actual practical application of that, and we've got some news. And the biggest twist of today is we're going to have a timer. So for actual segments, we are not going to go over 7 minutes. That's our goal. We are really trying to shoot to get it done in an hour. So that's kind of, we're going to put some pressure under our butts. So with all of that said, let's get this party started. We're starting off with the actual practical piece of the thing. But before I do that, I want to set it up. So obviously, I have a business, Chris has a business, we have the show, we've got a lot going on. And after we make all this content and the video, which is great, live video is where it's at because we're real, it's us. But then this video has to be repurposed and used for promotion. And I don't know about you, but it's like I don't like it. It's not my strength. Video editing is not something I wanted to do. And so, but I know I have to do it, which I'm sure you've got some stuff to, that you have to do at work as well. Do you have your timer going?
Yep.
Okay, great. So what I did is I asked Grok, because Grok is my cool friend who knows all the latest and the greatest. What workflow does he recommend? Does he recommend for me to use? And Grok recommended that, I used to use CapCut. And he said CapCut is like the way of the old. And they recommended me using Opus Clip. So if you used Opus Clip, raise your hand. But Opus Clip, so I looked up in the company and I got hooked. It's a super useful tool, which I will show how I'm using it, and I've been using it this week. But before I do that, I thought this could be a great segment for our AI economics. So what does that mean? We're actually going to break down how they make money and how much money we think they're actually making. And the topic of today's show is are they the master builder or are they the middleman? Because that's the economy that's kind of that's kind of emerging out there. So let's kind of kick this off. So Opus, have you heard of Opus, Chris?
Only because you brought it into my sphere.
Okay, great.
But I'm impressed. It's a cool product.
Right. So
can we just do a quick rundown of what it does?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So here's what it looks like. So Opus, basically, they I can't really decide if it's like an AI business or they're just like really good at wrapping AI around their tool. So they're doing about 20 million in annual revenue with 90 people. That's about 220,000 per employee, which is kind of cool for a startup. But when you dig into where the money flows, I'm not sure the AI is doing what we think it's doing. It's very interesting. So here's what it does. It takes your podcast video clip, long form, and it cuts it into TikTok, Instagram, YouTube short ready clips in under kind of 5 minutes. So they're making shorts from your long video. Sounds great. Sign me up. They currently have 10 million users. They generated over 170 million clips. They raised 20 million Series B from SoftBank, and they're valued at $215 million. The pricing is, pro plan is not $29 a month, and you get 300 credits. and it's 1 credit for 1 minute of uploaded video. So that's where 80% of the revenue comes from. They are free. They have a free tier, which is currently what I'm using. And I believe you get 90 credits as free, and that's every month. So you don't actually have to sign up to use it. You can just use it for free, which is what I'm doing. And but the cool thing about it is that I think they have 15 to 20% of the users that use it for free. They convert them into paying customers, and that's how they make money. So 20 million, again, this is just what I've gathered from online, kind of information. They're private companies, so you don't really know, much about them. And there's a lot of other video editing tools, but what's cool about Opus is they focus on short clips, and they have a very secret sauce, which is the viral score. So what I thought we're gonna do, we're actually gonna do, did I miss anything important? Oh, the pricing. Should we talk about pricing now or after?
No. Let's just see what it does so everybody can get an idea of what we're
So
working
let me show you on the real example what I actually do, what the workflow is, and how easy it is. All right. So I am actually gonna go ahead and take a video that is about 18 minutes long. That's from our previous live that we did last week. So I literally, can you see this?
Yep.
So I'm dropping the YouTube link, okay? You don't even have to upload the actual video. So you're just doing the link. You kind of go through here, and I'm about to enter a prompt, which when I enter a prompt, I'm kind of cheating. So I use the prompt that I asked Claude to help me generate. And here's what I asked. I just asked Claude to help me create a prompt that would give me the best possible output. So it's a little bit long, and I'm putting the prompt right now. It's kind of long, but basically all I'm saying is, and again, you can just ask Claude to help you, but clip cutter prompt mission, find 60 to 90-second moments that make viewers think, I want to try that. I haven't thought about it that way. Practical insight from weekly AI news. So again, you can put whatever prompt you want, but basically I am making this super, 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 helpful for us. You can select the clip length here, and then this video is 18 minutes, so they're gonna count as 19 minutes. I currently have 37 credits. Again, that's a free one. And then I gotta select which kind of captions do I want. So I like my purple ones. And that's all. So I'm just gonna do and push the button, and you can see that it's working. It says about 8 minutes working, so it's literally real time. So we're gonna come back to that as we're talking about their cost. But that's all. So once it's done, it's gonna show me all the possible clips. So do you want to come back to this in a minute?
Well, let me describe real quick some of the stuff that it does so people get a feel for like what workflow pieces are being replaced. So what I think is interesting, if you're going to create your own clips, there's some rules. So for YouTube Shorts, for example, they want you to have a vertically formatted video as if it were shot on a mobile device. Well, if we're recording this in 1920 by 1080 or something like that, where it's, TV type format, that doesn't fit. So we would have to edit our clips and cut them in that way just to even have them be eligible for shorts. One problem with that is like where we are on the screen as you see us now is not always optimized for that. Like if we're just talking here and we don't see the desktop, it's us side by side. That doesn't work for mobile. So like how do we crop that? Like that would be a pain in the butt to do. So that's one adjustment you would have to make. Another one is adding the layer of captions. Like that's non-trivial layered add-on that's going to take a lot of time until you have an established workflow. And even then it's not like, a lock for being a super easy thing to do. And then the other part of that is you actually have to go through your show and identify what clips are likely to engage the audience. So that's a lot of curation and a lot of touch points as far as like things you need to adjust to make your videos work in these formats. And Opus is actually going through and performing all of those functions.
So kind of talk about what's happening on the back end. So they are They've got their own, LLM or whatever, or the model that they've trained.
Well, they have like an agent workflow model that calls out to existing LLMs. They're using ChatGPT, Gemini, another thing that does captions. I think it's called Whisper.
Yeah, yep, Whisper. Mm-hmm.
And I thought there was one other thing too. They use a free tool like FFmpeg to make sure everything fits the formatting and aspect ratios that they want.
Yep.
But their workflow is really a chain then of these specific AI agents, like whatever process they need to do with GPT is one or multiple agents that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's stuff with is it Gemini? I've already lost track of the things. So they've got something that calls out. They got a thing that calls out to Whisper and adds the caption layer, something that puts them all together. And then something that formats and saves the file. I think that's FFmpeg. And then they have server space that they pay for, like presumably like an AWS rack setup or something, where all these gigabytes of files are going for users then to be able to access them.
Yeah.
So, their actual operation is really just, we call these AI API wrappers.
Yep.
They're doing stuff with the existing tools that are out there, but they've pieced it all together because, as I described that process earlier, there's a lot of pieces that need to happen to create the finished product, which is the only thing people want.
So this is where AI economics come in, right? So there's all these different things. They have to pay for server, they have to pay for OpenAI, they have to pay for Whisper, they have to pay for all these different things. But as a user, just want to, look, I just pay them a monthly fee. Well, in this case, I use it even for free. But so somehow they still have to make sure that they're not losing money. And for $29, you get 300 credits. Again, that's only 300 minutes that you can work with. So they really emphasize that you got to cut the video. You can't like upload a 2-hour video because then you're going to earn, get through all the minutes in that time. So you really have to think about which videos you really want to make into cut into shorts. And then once it's done, you guys going to see it. So it sounds like they're basically, the way it works, they pay about how much did we decide that they're paying to OpenAI?
1.1 million a month for storage, just for the file space to save all of these things too.
Yeah.
Then they also have what, $220,000 a month ChatGPT.
Yeah, they have 200 to 350 per month just to OpenAI. I'm sure they have some kind of wholesale pricing with them, but that's what we anticipate their bill, is to be. And they say if it's really high traffic days, obviously that could be a lot more. But right now, as you see, it's running. This is what they're all doing, right? So the Whisper just finished their work. ChatGPT found the hooks. FFmpeg reframed. TalkNet tracks faces. And then it add captions, B-roll, and experts. So all of this is happening as I can be doing other things. So before, I would have to do all of this while I'm cutting the shorts to make sure I get the promotions going. Now I literally just do that and go focus on something else. I felt magic this week. It felt really great. And once you guys see how they actually score things, it's like you got to go try it out with whatever video you got. And let us know.
Well, let's talk about two other ways to solve this problem. And we can see why this is clearly superior. Something like this is going to win. Number one, you could hire an assistant or somebody to go through and do this stuff. And if you want to be totally hands-off and save yourself the maximum amount of time, you just hope that they pick the right clips. You hope that they caption it right. You hope that they pick the right, edit, start and stop points so that you don't have to do a bunch of back and forth. Like, you hope that this person is competent enough to do exactly what you want. Now, I'm not claiming the AI is going to do exactly what you want, but I'm saying the AI is at least this is trained to do this exact job, and you didn't have to train it in the way you would train an assistant. So, but you're paying for the assistant, and obviously you're having to deal with the quality of the output, whatever that is. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you could be a hardcore video creator. Like, I know plenty of people I see on X who publish really interesting AI videos. They're using 5 or 6 different AI-driven, components or software, whatever, like Sora, plus this thing for audio, plus this thing for, getting scripts right and all this stuff, and animating illustrations or even making the illustrations, like 5 or 6 different pieces, putting them all together and doing that. And they say, hey, the output is compelling, but it's a ton of work. So like obviously as creators, we're trying to cut out all that work because we've already created the content. We have the stuff. We just need it packaged in the right way so we can win.
Well, and this is the question of the day, right? So they're not building AI. 12 to 20% of the revenue goes straight to OpenAI. So they're renting it, and then they're charging a markup for packaging it. And so, which I actually think that's smart, until ChatGPT decides that they're going to do their own tool like that. So that's why they really market themselves for the virality score. And that's sort of kind of how they've really been leaping their competitors in the space on the shorts, is they're giving you the score based on their own analytics that worked for them.
So they're saying that you can upload a clip to them and their software will identify the most viral short clips from
and
within.
let's take a look. It's done. So let's go check it out. So it analyzed it. It's going to store there for 6 days. And look at this clips. All right. So they give you a lot of clips, and then they give you this score, 99% and 98% score confidence that it will be going viral, right? So this, for example, next segment is the one that really shook me yesterday when I read the news. So, and it tells you like, this is a 2 minute and 30 seconds, so you can watch it. So again, they're keeping it under 3 minutes, right? This one is a minute, this one is a minute, this one is a minute. So you kind of go through, it names them based on what it thinks the title should be. It creates the subtitles over there. And then if you really want to go, it gives you the transcript. So you can literally go in there and edit out whatever you don't want. And then it will redo the thing for you. So I'm not going to play this right now because obviously I don't want to waste the time for this. But this is like how much work has been done on my behalf. So now all I have to do is kind of go in and pick the ones I really want. I can post it directly to my platform if I wanted to, or just download it and post whatever I want. It could be on X. It's already optimized formatting wise. It could be on YouTube Shorts. But that's kind of what we're doing. So what do you think about this?
Well, I mean, obviously that's a workflow win. You can't argue with that. Now let's set the table here based on some of what we've just said today and what we said last week. But, last week we said that the differentiator in a lot of these AI experiences is the UX itself. Right. You differentiate on the basis of design. So they are delivering you that transcript. There, you've got options to choose from. You've got projected virality scores. It's telling you how long each clip is. Like at a glance, this is a very useful dashboard for you to pick out and use the assets that they have created for you. Yep. That's pretty nice. Yep. And so the big looming specter here is, well, what happens if ChatGPT releases a killer feature that basically throws this into jeopardy? Yeah. Well, they've put together a pretty nice UX.
Yep. It's super easy. I mean, it couldn't be more easy than this.
And let's say you use this for some time and you decide, I think anything this projects at a score of 95 or better is pretty good. And then I just pick the ones that are like the shortest. Yeah. Or something like this. Like you have a trusted workflow. Going to be hard to peel you away from that. Yep. But there is truth to this idea that we are going to identify the most useful workflows for humans at any given time. I'll say there's going to be like 50 of these. 50 workflows that at any given time across every industry, like these are the ones you really need. Obviously, the big LLMs are going to be looking at nuking them. But it's, but you could have said this about so much other software in the past. And the reality is that it's not worth, like if you're ChatGPT, OpenAI, it's probably not worth your time to go into these niches and dominate like some of these players.
Right.
You want them to shine in these areas.
Yes. And that's why I think the wrapping around ChatGPT, I think that's a great idea. This is such a neat little company. And I really, it was a very delightful product to use. I'm definitely excited to keep, to add this to my, now it's like a fun project, a surprising project. And the fact that I still have control over, so it's not just like Nana Banana gives me the picture that it's so hard to edit later because it just keeps on hallucinating. This actually gives me something to work with. and edit if I really wanted to do that. And then obviously only focus on the ones that scored high and not really worry about the ones that didn't. So any kind of, in terms of economics, do you think we covered kind of how that works?
Yeah, I mean, so they have it, they know their, so let's break down the business real quick. They know their cost per minute of video on average. Like if you upload a minute of video, they know that they're going to spend, that your minute of video, the average, like how much money they would get from users would be like, 40 cents.
Yeah.
And they know that their average spend on that video is going to be 28 cents. Then they know they've got their margin in there.
And they want to make sure you're not just putting all these videos with like a gazillion hours. Like you got to be very specific about like,
right, because that'll eat up your
unless,
credits.
You want to burn a bunch of minutes, but that's
so their whole business, as I see it, is really just two problems. Problem one is putting the product together and delivering the UX. That's like the core thing, but that's that's repeatable. Somebody else could step in and do something similar. Okay, that's not a moat. Their other main business initiative is to figure out as closely as possible the cost per minute of video produced. And then the corollary to that is to figure out their credit system. The credits is the main thing here. I've actually complained about this in the past. I don't know if the audience is drawing a direct correlation between what I was saying about tracking token usage and credits. It's exactly the same thing. It's just done in a little bit different way. Right. But it is to me, it's sort of a pain in the ass as a business to have to do that because that's not really your product. You're just figuring out the way you need to structure this and deliver it to customers so that you can actually make money.
You are the middleman at the mercy of how much they will charge you.
That nails it. I've never thought about this in that exact way. When you are doing that kind of thinking, when you're figuring out how do I need to package this and deliver a cost to customers, you're a middleman.
Yeah.
You're a middleman. And I don't like middleman features, but I kind of see this as an inescapable reality when you're calling out to these LLMs and stuff. Like you're kind of a middleman by default.
Yeah.
So
anyway, try it out. Great product, great neat product. And I'm going to start kind of showcasing more of those because this is truly magical where it does the work and you don't really have to do much, which is what I like.
It's delightful. Like, I love the idea. You upload a clip, like, what am I going to get?
And look at it, formatted it the way, like whoever is speaking has the face. I mean, it's super smart. Like, I was very impressed with the quality. And obviously, these are the ones that I'm going to be using kind of especially for X because X has the video shorts now as well. So this is really cool. And
so really, here's the thing to think about. If you're like an agency type person or providing services to others for businesses that have online presences, how long is it going to be before your average business owner catches up to like this being a thing? I think it's going to be a while,
especially for smaller business owners. This is great.
I think it'd be good for them to use, but I think there's agencies who can take advantage of this and say we offer this service now.
Yeah.
And be crushing this.
So I think to wrap this up, I think they make about 20 million in revenue, and as we kind of deducted all the expenses, they make between 300 and 500,000 in profit every month, which is pretty cool for a startup that is figured out how to make money, solving a pretty painful thing for a lot of business owners with this video. And as we know, whoever is out there promoting themselves right now is getting the worm. Right?
That's a big pain point, no question.
Exactly. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Cool little business, and good luck to them. Yep. So I think we're already over 7 minutes, so we're just going to be even faster.
To say the least, but we'll keep going. That's a big win segment for everybody.
Yes.
I love the workflow enhancements.
Yes, I love it. So next quick little demo I wanted to do right quick is this week there was a pretty interesting tweet that I saw. Somebody was saying, I will pay a lot of money if my ChatGPT will be honest with me. And this lady, Alex Friedman, went ahead and posted her tweet, and she said, you're an expert who, she's like, this is what I do. Can I, guess, share my screen?
Just got to choose the right tab.
Great. Okay, well, I
can pull it up.
Yeah. So pull it up. So and she basically said that this is the prompt she uses. You're the expert who double checks things. You're skeptical and you do research. I'm not always right, neither are you, but both strive for accuracy. So that's the only way, she says, her ChatGPT shows her that if she's, wrong. So of course I saw that and I was like, I'm gonna try this in my ChatGPT, and if I can figure out how to do this on mine. I mean, I thought that I can stop screen.
I got it. Is her name wasn't
Okay,
showing up even though
I got it. I got it. Okay,
All right.
this is the live show. So,
I have it right now.
okay, pull it up. I just wanted the screenshot of my actual ChatGPT. Cool. Oh, I thought you put the document, our document up.
Oh, well, I can do that too.
Cool. Got it. So this is what I did. I just went to settings and I went to personalization and I put this thing up in there, literally over there. And from now on, every time I say some nonsense to my ChatGPT, it actually pushes back on me, which is fascinating. Like today I played, just to do a little example about the moon landing and controversy of that. And it didn't just agree or disagree with me. It actually gave me the facts and sources. And so I think I just made my ChatGPT more honest with applying this cute little prompt. So if nothing else out of this show today, go ahead and make your ChatGPT a little bit more honest and a little bit more strict with how it treats you, because it's a yes man, it's a huge yes man, and this is the cool way to make this custom instructions, because you put it under personalization, that makes it across all your chats. So no more of my big ears, happy ears, like, oh, this is exciting. It literally now kind of sounds like my, I don't want to say critical friend, but more neutral friend that kind of pulls up a lot of different sources. Do you think it'll help if I show the actual thing or no?
No, that's fine.
Okay. But anyway, so what do you think about that little trick?
Well, I mean, on one hand, I think it's unfortunate that we have to coax the LLMs to behave this way to begin with. However, if you're a pro user, you're aware of the yes man mentality of these things. And you, obviously, if you really want results, you kind of want to be getting away from that. When you're delving into a new field and you don't know everything in the landscape, you don't want to be presented with information that's done in a certainty type, like with too high a level of certainty.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way it works. Like, you want to know which questions to ask. Good operators know which questions to ask. So the LLM needs to have that posture if it is going to be useful in that way.
Yeah. Yep, and it's magic. And I even asked, I was like, are you answering this because I gave you this prompt? And it literally says, yes, this is why I'm arguing with you, because of this prompt, which is what I want. And there's another thing that I saw online this week. I don't know if you saw it, but basically, apparently, the suicidal, like they track some, how people use ChatGPT, and there's a ton of people that use ChatGPT that have suicidal thoughts, and like they're using this as sort of therapy. And I'm like, wouldn't that be great if those people who are using it for the ChatGPT to agree with them on something that it probably shouldn't, would have the prompt like this that would encourage them to have a ChatGPT that pushes back on them a little bit, whatever thoughts they may be having. And this girl's reply got like 10 million views. So clearly there's a lot of people who are seeing value in their ChatGPT being honest, and now there's an option. So it's very easy. That's pretty much the only custom instructions I have for my whole ChatGPT. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. Let's move on to the next exit, to the next segment, which is the Grokipedia. Grokipedia went live this week. And of course, it's super controversial. So for those of you who don't know Grokipedia, it comes from obviously Grok, which is XAI. Elon Musk is the creator, and they build it in 48 hours, and they've got 900,000 articles at launch. and it's entirely AI generated, 0 human editors. So Elon's pitch was that Wikipedia has left-wing bias, and Grokipedia pursues the truth. So the site crashed the first day. It's back up now. And I wanted to talk about kind of what that means for all of us, because up until now, Wikipedia was sort of ruling the world of, getting information that was sort of kind of truthful or, factual, I guess. So the architecture of Grok is it's powered by a Grok 4. It's at Grokipedia.com. It rewrote Wikipedia's entire data dump. Real-time updates from X posts, news feeds, RSS.
It includes that stuff in its assessments.
It's editing is locked. It's AI only. You can suggest changes, but can't directly edit. And articles include AI confidence scores, true, false, partially true.
So real quick, a usability note that I think is really cool, I'll show you, with this versus Wikipedia, is that in Wikipedia, if you are reading an article and there is some tangentially related topic that you would like to explore, if that is not linked, then it's not easy for you to do that. Grokipedia enables you to highlight anything and you can click Ask Grok. So you don't need stuff to be linked by humans. Those connections don't have to be made. You can just highlight anything and ask Grok about that connection, which is a really cool, quick access sort of way to explore anything that you would read in any topic. So it's like, I think about the exploration mechanisms on the internet over the last 20 years. It used to be like links you'd find at somebody's website, which could lead you down a search rabbit hole, that kind of thing. Like, this is a faster way to get more places like that and to explore informational rabbit holes. I think it's a pretty cool mechanism that they have in place there.
Well, do you want to pull up the slide that kind of describes the difference between Grokipedia and Wikipedia?
There it is. This is maybe a little small. It's not too small.
So this is the first large-scale LLM deployed as a knowledge curator, not assisting humans, but replacing them. So it's auto updates knowledge based on refresh overnight, documentation that never goes stale, and internal wikis that maintain themselves, basically. But what's risky is Grokipedia proves AI curation isn't neutral, it's engineered, and we don't really know what the settings are, right? So people say, Wikipedia is more on the left, now Grokipedia is more on the right, but Wikipedia is edited by humans, so there is some of that. Grokipedia has pretty much, nothing. We don't know. So if you look at the differences, obviously you guys can read here, but with Wikipedia, it's open, anyone can edit. Grokipedia closed, AI only suggests via form. So I don't know who's reviewing that. Is AI reviewing the form? I don't know. Wikipedia is supposed to be neutral point of view, accused of being more left-leaning, and Grokipedia is marketing themselves as truth-seeking, conservative-leaning. So yeah,
I would push back on that. The early analysis I saw says that Grokipedia, I mean, who knows what metrics they're using to determine what's what, left, right, center. But they said Grokipedia is just a teeny bit left of center, and Wikipedia was significantly farther left than that on this analysis I saw. So, and Elon hasn't said that it's conservative leaning. He's just said that it is truth seeking.
Well, here's the question though, what's the truth seeking, right? And so I don't know, who's truth and how do we define truth?
I'm going to go into that in a little bit. It's kind of a bleak picture, but it is the reality of information. And this process, this whole evolution of Grokipedia, Wikipedia, using AIs to assimilate information, it is teaching us about the nature of information that we've kind of just assumed or glossed over in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know as much about information as we think. We've assigned a whole lot of value to information depending on its sources in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And if there were any bad actors along that chain producing that information, then we were going to get bamboozled.
Yeah.
We didn't quite look at it that way, but it's becoming more clear, so over the last decade especially, that information can be manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
It can be used as a weapon. And we would obviously like to avoid that if possible. We'd prefer just to know what are the facts, what's actually happening. That's much more difficult than it seems.
Well, so I'm looking at this and I'm actually excited because there's another source of information that I can go look. I literally have both of them going back and forth and just kind of figuring it out. Because a lot of times with Wikipedia, yes, there's a lot of cool information, but I always feel like it's outdated because when something new is happening, it doesn't like it needs a human to update it, right? And there are some people that are excited about it and updating that. But with Grokipedia, it's going to be there immediately. So
Well, let me talk about a couple things that I think are exciting about this.
Okay.
Number one, so here on our chart, it says source depth, that Grokipedia is shallow, 1 to 5 sources typical, and then Wikipedia is deep, 50 to 200 plus citations. That is old information already. Grok is updating every night and layering on an unbelievable amount of sources and citations. I just checked some articles that earlier in the week had single-digit citations. They're up in the hundreds.
Wow.
So it is assimilating a wide variety of sources. So I went and checked on some of these sources because, you know, this left-leaning, right-leaning, I've seen these arguments. I wanted to see how true I thought they were. I could not believe the amount of information sources that I would consider to be heavily biased in one direction or another, all being included in these analysis. There were news articles, there were press releases, there were updates from companies that, you know, maybe work with some of these things or have been involved. There were, like I said, some articles that I thought were super biased, some I thought were neutral, some that are like uses of a thing in commerce to like relational information, not exactly like bias. There's no you know, there's no goal to be achieved there. It's just really just neutral sorts of information.
Yeah.
So it's really taking a lot of that stuff into account. But here's the best part. When AI can do more work than humans can do, you could deploy an army of humans and they would not be able to get the same amount of work done because the humans would have to coordinate.
Yeah.
The AI is already correlated with itself. It can do that in a much faster way. So what is something like Wikipedia? It is the assimilation of a bunch of information from disparate sources, and you're trying to put it all into an article that just presents the case. That is 100% a perfect application for AI. I'm just going to make the claim AI will be able to do this better than humans ever could. And what AI provides you, you may not like, but I promise that those results are more reflective of reality than something like Wikipedia. There has been a whole bunch of dirty news about Wikipedia over the last 5 years in the media. Most recently, Larry Sanger, who was one of the 2 founders of Wikipedia, he was ostracized from the project or left it or something like this, and has been a vocal critic of it ever since. He was on the Tucker Carlson show, which love or hate doesn't really matter. He was on there talking about the nature of bias and the way Wikipedia works and how gatekept it is.
Yeah.
If anyone watches this segment, it's shocking. There's a very small number of editors who are in charge of pretty much everything that gets through on the platform. They have blacklisted some sources. They don't allow certain sources of information to be cited at all.
Well,
this is a big red flag because the AI is going to consider all of that.
And that's
blacklisting, and who decides what's blacklisted?
That's why I'm excited that we have an option now, but that also means we're gonna have to think for ourselves even more, right? So we got to ask questions about this is true, is this not true, and like really have considered 2 things. I like that I have an option to have more objective truth, but I think truth is like what is truth is going back to now we have at least a way to compare the notes.
So I'm going to even make a further claim that truth is whatever you decide, although I do think that there is something resembling an objective truth that has a feeling of light and warmth, but that's too much for the show.
Yeah.
But the information you get from something like Grokipedia or even Wikipedia is not going to be the truth. It's going to be the information that we have right now, and you must absorb that and decide what is the truth based on your gut, your feelings, what you know.
Go to the other slide right quick where I put examples of 2 things right here. So one is US elections 2020. It kind of gives you the answers of Grokipedia and Wikipedia. And then I put Federal Reserve kind of analysis by a tech journalist. So it kind of gives you pattern over here in terms of Grokipedia. It's more real time on both of them. And on Wikipedia, it's sort of, it gives you the links. Like you said, I think Grokipedia is still a baby. It's like 0.1. Like he's like, this is a basic, like super early version. So there's not going to be a ton of links yet, but I think they're trying to build it up to that. And so the biggest thing about Grokipedia is the more recent one. Wikipedia is kind of now like still cites 2020, 2021 sources only, right? So it's definitely not as new. And then if you look at the Federal Reserve one, it sort of gives you kind of more expansive. You can go and look for historic analysis. It's up to date. It's critical edge, while Wikipedia is more neutral. So
well,
go play with
so
it.
I'm pushing back on that hard. So we're going to look at this right here.
Please go push back.
So here's the Grok results for the 2020 U.S. presidential election. So our chart said it had like 8 sources. This has been expanded massively today.
Already. So
And
my news are old news from yesterday.
This is more than it was earlier when I looked. It's 325 sources.
Oh my
now.
God. Okay. All right. Well,
so
there
this
you
is
go.
updating every night. Their knowledge base recompiles after scouring the internet. And so really what, I think it's funny, if you're working at Grokipedia internally, what's changing overnight is probably not that much. There's probably some news articles, probably some press releases, and a lot of tweets.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that they are bringing in. But obviously they had a sort of a mountain of information that they can go through. And it was probably doing a first pass because you wouldn't want to include everything. That'd be too much context. So it was probably doing it in chunks. And now it's done enough iterations that it's got a really big percentage of that mountain encompassed. And eventually we'll have it all.
You know what I do like about this? It's not like AI makes it up, right? They don't really. It's just like they're literally analyzing all these links out there that are relevant, and they're putting it up in the way that is easy to read, I guess. And like it's accumulated knowledge. And what AI has on Wikipedia is that Wikipedia has people that sleep, or Grokipedia never sleeps, and it's constantly working. So that's going to be interesting to keep watching that. Again, I'm pumped. Go play with it. See what you think. But now we have another source of data. And I'm actually curious if it's going to be so, when you ask a question, will Google now reference Grokipedia as much as it references Wikipedia?
Ooh, I'm gonna call no on that, but we don't have to go into that right now. However, I do want to point out a couple things I like, and also so pros and cons. The cons are using Grokipedia search is nasty right now. Their search sucks. You have to, like, if I put U.S. election 2020, which I will share this tab and do that real quick. If I put that, it doesn't know what the heck I just talked about.
Yeah.
If I say 2020 U.S. election, then we get it right. So that is a real primitive, crappy search. Let's just deal for now. But like, and they actually sent me straight to an article there. But so that's wonky. But let's not worry about that for now. Let's talk about the formatting. The formatting is really good. We've got nice line spacing. We got something. It's not golden ratio typography. It's not quite up to that standard, but we're getting closer than Wikipedia ever was. So that's nice. Got these nice section headers. Everything is anchored so that you can link to it and reference it quickly. If you were going to show somebody else, that's nice. Like I said, we've got this great UX where you can highlight and then ask Grok. You can also do the suggest edit if you find a piece of information you believe is not factual. That gets fed in and crunched nightly.
Yep.
It's got these nice. So if you're creating content with an LLM, you give it some rules about what to do with what you have. And they've given it some real nice rules. They've got these tables, which hopefully we'll get to some point here on the scroll. Here's some nice tables. Like, this is a nicely formatted table.
I can't see the table.
Oh, crap.
Oh,
Here we
no,
go.
I can see.
So
Yep.
here's the table that's nicely formatted.
Yep.
They've got, like I said, the sort of almost GRT line spacing and paragraph spacing.
I do like that you can
Settings,
like literally
anchor.
highlight anything and it will give you more,
Yeah, here's that mechanism. You can copy, ask Grok, or suggest edit. Super nice. They've got the citations baked in. You actually get a quick view. This one's MIT. This one's Lawfare Media. This one's Brennan Center. I saw another one that's CNN. So like Wikipedia will allow you to cite CNN, but not Fox News.
Oh, wow.
I think both of them are fake.
I did not know that.
Grok just puts them all in there. It says, you make this what you will, but it's considering everything and not the stuff that is not banned.
All right. And then I did a quick little poll on X about would you trust Grokipedia over Wikipedia? And I was shocked with the results. Were you shocked, Chris?
I'm shocked. I'm so skeptical. There's no way that's real.
I mean,
There's no way 72% of people trust Wikipedia
yep,
over
this
Grok.
is
Like,
the
you must be
newest.
joking.
Can you see this? This is the newest thing. Out of 1,000 votes in the last 2 days, this is the deals. But it will be interesting to see how it's going to change. But right now, majority of people on X trust Wikipedia more than Grokipedia. So I thought that was interesting and fun little fact over there. But moving on, anything else I have to say before we move on?
No, just that I think AI can curate large sources of information and provide you with what's happening look better than humans and more trustworthy than humans.
Yep.
Full stop.
Yep. Exciting stuff. Let's keep going. So next thing I wanted to talk about is the big news of the week. OpenAI finally got their status that they've been working on for a long time. They are now officially a public benefit corporation, kind of like Patagonia. Is that how you say that?
Yep.
Where you have a mission in addition to your profit, which is kind of interesting and in its own way. But this is not what the real news is about. Great, they became public benefit corporation. Why do I care? Well, we actually should care a lot because they started as a nonprofit back in the day. And then they've evolved because they realized they can't really build AGI as a nonprofit because building that requires a lot of money. And they were majorly handicapped by doing what they want with that money because of their technically we're still a nonprofit. So what happened this week? They finally got a green light. They are now a public benefit corporation, and what they're doing is the race for AGI has just become even more heated. So this is what everybody is kind of missing in the news, this week. So do you know what AGI is?
It is artificial general intelligence. What that means is an AI that can not just crunch an information base and spit you back a report, but that can reason over the content of that report and say, this feels right, this doesn't feel right, maybe you could do this, maybe you could do that, but it is extensive thinking beyond output. Thinking about output rather than just giving output.
Yeah, it's not about a ChatGPT. It's not the different model. It's a machine that can learn and do anything a human can do, cure diseases, solve climate change, the most important technology in human history, more arguably, I guess. So, and you can't build AGI on a nonprofit budget. They burn about $7 billion a year, and they were about 18 months, like they needed cash really badly. So they commercialized it. So this is the change that happened. Microsoft stays in with their 27%. This is very important, by the way, to know this. And tech access through 2032. Early investors get liquidity. The nonprofit foundation keeps $130 billion stake and veto power over safety decisions.
What is a safety decision?
That is the big question of the day. And of course, they're planning to go public in 2 to 3 years, and that's why they need to get this little checkbox checked. So
well, X-user Unusual Whales reported that they are in positioning that this was actually to get them in position for a $1 trillion IPO.
Right.
Sooner than 2 to 3 years, like
right.
Soon.
Right. And so Microsoft invested $13 billion, and they didn't do it for charity, right? They are in their arms race for AGI. So if AGI happens, Microsoft has their big hand in that pot. So Azure becomes the infrastructure for everything, trillions in cloud revenue, because that's their agreement. Office, Bing, GitHub get AGI inside of them. That's not improvement. That's eating Google's entire business. And whoever controls AGI controls the next century. So Google has, so here's what Microsoft is so into this, right? So Google has DeepMind, Meta is building Llama, and Microsoft doesn't really have anything. I mean, what do they have? If they don't have AGI, like they're going to be irrelevant, in 10 years. So they're hedging. So they dropped from exclusive partner to 27% shareholder. less visible, but that's a trick. They steal everything. They kept everything they need. If OpenAI wins, Microsoft's embedded. If OpenAI fails, they build their own. So Microsoft is controlling OpenAI in a way that sort of for public doesn't look like control, because still their nonprofit is in control. But Microsoft literally gets to say what's AGI, how to use it, and who's using it. And clearly they want to be
they're securing their future in one way or another.
Yep.
Because they don't really have an internal AI future. They had to go outside the business to get it.
Right. So the foundation has a veto power. It's supposed to stop any kind of manipulation or whatever. But like, has a nonprofit ever actually overruled the public company when the market's screaming ship now and the numbers are that big? Like, to me, it's kind of like a clown world.
Yeah,
like,
it seems absurd.
It's just like, what kind of show are they putting like that to make people feel better? Like, oh, there's a nonprofit that's overseeing this, but by the way, we're just creating this technology that changes the whole human existence, and some nonprofit will be actually like calling the shots.
I don't trust Sam Altman. I see the stuff like he's been talking about this week, like clapping back at Elon. Elon's big criticism is that it was open. And now it's not really open. He doesn't even want it to be open, but he's still trying to maintain this semblance of openness, which is still what this is doing. It's like, let's drop the mask, be who you're trying to be. It's fine. I don't think anybody really cares if it's open or not. I think that argument is very naive. Like, just because we slap a label on it, does it really like change the nature of a thing? No. We've seen a lot of open source sins committed, especially recently in the last couple of years. Like, it's open source in name only. Like, let's just drop the mask and be who we are here.
Well,
open source doesn't make anything safer for anybody. It may make you safer in the sense that if they decide to do something with the big platform, that you still have a version of that platform that you can run that's not tainted by the big mothership. But at some point, you still had to detach from the mothership, supply your own fuel for your ship, and run the thing. So it's like, it's still a whole lot of onus on the user that no one's really ever having to do. I don't know.
I feel like it's like some kind of movie setup, right? So there's going to be fiduciary duty, quarterly earnings, competitive pressure once they're actually public. And will they actually choose safety over speed when the $1 trillion is on the line? Like, this sounds like some future action movie, and we don't know. I mean, we know that investors are set for the IPO. Microsoft is going to win either way because they got preview. They've got they get to see everything that's happening and what's going on, right? They're in on it, and the foundation has veto power on paper. We'll see how that works out. So anyway,
the conditions of the race have been announced. It's AGI or bust.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter I don't care what these companies call themselves or how they dress themselves up for public offering or for, public consumption, whatever. It's who can get to AGI, who can leverage that the fastest. I also don't think that if one gets to AGI first, that means the others are screwed. I think AGI is something like, it's like Pandora's box thing. Once it's out, you can't stop it. Everyone's going to eventually get there. And it's not something that can be contained to any one ecosystem. So maybe this is a whole lot of this is all like a big first to market race to me.
Sam Altman and Microsoft are on it. So what can go wrong? We will not find out today, but you heard it here first. So we wanted you to start. I just like to think about, like, they're like, oh, public benefit corporation, let's feel good about it. But at the same time, like, there's all these other things that are behind the scenes that, we got to be thinking about. So we did this in 9 minutes, Chris. So let's keep going.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
It's time for a news flash.
So we're gonna just steamroll through all of this stuff just for you guys to know what happened this week. Nvidia secured another $500 billion in AI chip bookings. So their sales are looking pretty good. Contracts include DOE supercomputers, Department of Energy, Palantir deployments, and Uber's 100,000 robotaxi fleet.
I feel like that was a line item that just got glossed over this week. Uber is putting 100,000 robo taxis out on the road. I don't know if they're Tesla robo taxis. I don't know what they are.
Well, this is
like Waymo uses that Jaguar to build.
They're buying chips. The bookings are up. Nvidia is doing great.
So Uber, interesting story there. Look, quick aside. Uber's biggest challenge in the last few years has been the security problem with drivers. Number one, they have to get drivers. Number two, the drivers have to be reliable. Number three, there's been security concerns where drivers commit atrocious acts. And number four, there's been security concerns where passengers commit atrocious acts on the drivers. It's a huge liability problem for them. If they could get rid of drivers altogether, that would solve a lot of their problems in one big chunk.
Yep. There you go. News number 2 of the week, Mistral Studio. Mistral launched Studio in private beta. It enables hosting, monitoring, and app building on open weight models with full data sovereignty. The platform integrates creation, observation, and governance in one secure loop.
What does this sound like to you?
Well, it feels like, well, they're trying to be sovereign, or more of like an open source, and I think they're trying to get it to the point where you can kind of do everything on their platform. What do you think?
This is what Lovable did.
Right.
This is the same thing. It's just their version.
There you go.
So the idea is that you can build an app. And so what does that mean for the layperson? An app, it could be a website, like an e-commerce website is essentially an app. But when you have an app, what they mean, the actual tech definition of app now is you have a database of users, you have some sort of login authentication to make that work so that users can log in. And then you have some service that's performed, and maybe there's money exchange, maybe there's not. Maybe there's like an e-com layer. And you have a way to deliver that. Like there's some output, and all those pieces need to work in harmony. And it's actually a huge pain in the butt to set all that up and coordinate that. Like you may have this idea and you need to go to market now, but the technical reality is you won't be able to do that for 6 to 9 months. That's if you know what you're doing. But this promises that you can do it much more quickly and cheaply.
But could this signal the start of a decentralization trend? So it's challenging the cloud monopolies and fostering a more equitable tech landscape, because Mistral is not really, it doesn't, I don't believe they're centralized like Lovable.
No, they're not. Well, because there's only a few big ones.
Yeah.
All that supercompute power is way too expensive. That's beyond the pale. So everybody is a wrapper of some sort. Pretty much all these startups. And what I think is fascinating, this is just some insight. If you're in the Silicon Valley type scene, the startup scene there, so many of these products, these startups that happen, are simply the product of people in the Valley meeting and sharing like, oh, this is what we need. This is what we, this is what we have. This is what we're working on. This is what we need. And somebody says, oh, I'm going to build a solution for that need that comes up. Like, I need a way to roll out these databases quickly. I need user authentication. And next thing you know, you got a startup doing exactly these things. And so it's a very insular sort of thing that these come out of. And it's not always relatable to the larger development world. But I think the directionality of this for decentralization, it will be decentralized in the following manner. What we saw with Opus Clip is an example of, so you've got the big nodes, like ChatGPT is a big node. Opus would be a little node that connects to ChatGPT and also to Whisper and also to Gemini or whatever stack that they use. They're connected to all these things. And these little nodes that connect to all these other ones are the decentralized outcomes. They're decentralized in a sense, because they could switch models tomorrow. Okay. But these nodes are actually the things that are serving customers.
Yeah.
And I think because of the nature of this problem, because of what the big guys have to focus on, they can't solve all these little problems that the nodes can focus. It's like vertical specific applications. The big guys can't actually do this. The landscape is too large. And so to me, this is the most exciting thing that's happening in AI. Watching these decentralized things pop up that serve verticals and industries and workflows. To me, that's the magic of AI right now. Magic is not what these big LLMs can do. It's people piecing them together to solve workflow problems, to create little bits of magic to make life better for us.
Google Flow, I'll skip the Adobe. Google released Flow with VO 3.1. Users edit AI-generated videos via text, add, remove objects, change lighting, extend scenes. Kind of similar to Opus, but obviously it's within Google. It's AI-generated.
It's like Sora.
Right. So video becomes a dynamic prompt-driven asset, transforming static media into adaptable content for real-time applications. So then the next news is Cameo sued OpenAI over Sora's Cameo clone. Claims include trademark infringement and unauthorized use of celebrity likeness. And the suit seeks damages and feature Showdown.
Here's exactly what happened. Sora has, Sora is OpenAI's video production thing. They have a mode called Cameo where you record yourself for like a 15-second clip and like you do some different poses and move your face and stuff. And then it creates an AI likeness of you called a Cameo. Well, there's a company that does similar stuff called Cameo, and they're basically saying that you guys just stepped all over our IP.
Well,
So
and
that's the
I
thing.
wonder if, I mean, this is just one of the many things they're going to deal with that Sora. They literally opened the Pandora's box.
I wonder if this was just a case of them just naming something and being very, very like, being cocky and not caring or not knowing. And then they get slapped with this in the back and they're like, damn it.
We don't know. Azure suffered a global DNS outage again, disrupting 365, Xbox retail.
Xbox hardest hit.
Huh?
I said Xbox hardest hit.
Yes. And so that's another, like, I've noticed there's it's been more common now, and maybe it's more noticeable because, you see like how many companies are sitting on those kind of servers. Is it like an indication of any kind of system cracks in AI dependent infrastructure? Like, is this too much? Is it too much?
Well, we just know that all of our stuff goes through like 5 different nodes, and if 3 of them are down, like we're all screwed for a while.
So centralization is cracking.
It's not great.
Well, what was the thing that cracked last time?
AWS.
Oh, well, okay.
AWS New York East server or East Coast US server crapped out and caused huge outages. Much stuff.
I'm very curious about that. Interesting. All right, so this is our news flash of the week, and now we're going to move into another demonstration right quick, another demo for you, and it's about
Cursor.
I forgot Cursor. God dang it. All right. Do you want to kind of
I mean, I'll just run through this real quick. So Cursor is an AI code editor, or IDE, that is becoming increasingly popular. I'm seeing some actual pretty impressive uses of this. But they're doing Cursor 2.0. It's got a lightning fast AI brain they're calling Composer. I'm going to have to do some more research here. I don't know if this is their own LLM or if this is something that is... So they must have purchased a lot of compute.
So I think they used a lot of... They were dependent on OpenAI and Anthropic for a while, and they've been training their own model. So it's not perfect yet, but I think they're trying to move away from dependency on OpenAI and Claude.
I would think they would have had to receive on the order of like $100 million to be able to pull this off.
I don't know that, but that's, it's out there.
I may need to do a database on our site so we can track this stuff. But I think they did get a huge investment not that long ago, sometime during the course of the show. I think something like that was announced. That would be necessary to do this. You're not running like people, just run your own LLM. Yeah, right. You need massive money, massive compute.
Well, and they're building custom brains tuned for coding. So I guess it's mostly for coding. And so developers are raving. One built a full community site with an auth and database within 5 minutes. Another called it the most impressive AI release of 2025. So for everybody's watching it, if you care about any of this, check it out. I'm very curious to hear what you guys are seeing over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of they're reaching the point of vibe coding some of this stuff, at least to a working prototype. I'm gonna have to mess with that, I think.
No, I'm very curious about that. Cool. Next demo is about Claude projects versus skills. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about the new feature that Claude launched. It's called Skills. And I, of course, had to play with that. And there's currently in Claude, there's this thing called projects. And I'm actually going to show my...
show us a project.
Yes, I'm going to... Okay. So, okay, can you see this?
Yep.
So currently there is this thing called projects. And basically this is... I create a project for anything where I want Claude follow certain instructions, right? So you remember we talked about instructions. They are the kind of set of what you want it to do. You update this. And so anytime I try to run a task, it sort of runs it in here. So I don't have to repeat the same thing over and over.
Yeah, it provides that same context for each of the queries within this project.
Right. So anytime I'm like preparing a segment or anything like that, whenever I post information in here that I collected, it runs it through all my instructions and it gives me ready to go, things. So I was like, okay, we already have projects. Why in the world do we need skills? So I was a little bit confused about that. And then because projects are, they organize related conversations around a specific topic or goal. They add custom instructions. They share knowledge. They keep context. So think of projects as folders for organizing work on specific topics.
Right, and you can upload up to 100 files for context per project, which is
amazing. I mean, and I haven't even done that, which I probably should start uploading all kinds of files. I love projects. Projects are great. But here's what's cool about skills. So I try to use projects for big, so every week we run AI funding report, and I pull the data from Crunchbase, and it's a big table. It has, between 150 to 200 rows with a lot of information. And what I've noticed, both kind of ChatGPT, so ChatGPT can't even load it up. It kind of starts hallucinating. Claude cannot analyze that file if I just put it in the instruction, in the project. It also starts hallucinating. It's basically like just too much if you try to run it through projects. So this is where skills have been very, very helpful. So skills it's performing specific task better. So run a report, create a PowerPoint, create a document to do this, test these different things together, and it records them in their skill right here. So if you go to capabilities, we all have this. These are the skills. And they already have some of them, loaded up. And I encourage you guys to play it, play with it. But I created my own skill that I wanted to show you kind of, how I did this. So I went ahead and we used my, actually I used my ChatGPT instructions as the initial instructions. And then I said, hey, can you write me what the skill for this would look like? So I literally just put it in the chat and I was like, I want to create a skill for this. These are the instructions. What should the skill be? And then Claude went ahead and wrote my instructions and then saved it for me in the ready to go format. So all I had to do was go to my skills and hit upload a skill. So I uploaded the folder that it gave me with the right, formats and everything. Once it uploaded, it created this AI funding report with all my instructions in there. So anytime now I need to run it, I just say, try and chat, it pulls it up, and I just literally dropped that huge file. It worked on it for a couple minutes, and it created the funding report that I'll review with you guys in a minute. But now I don't have to worry about if it's hallucinating. It's literally going through, little by little. And it's for really complex things that usually, like, it took me about 20 minutes to do. This time it took me literally 2 minutes with the skills, because it's putting together in the format that makes sense. And it's been kind of magical. So what do you think about this, Chris?
Well, so I think about the way software has worked and how this represents some remarkable improvements. So skills is a thing that it can do, that Claude can do. And you can create a new skill and it can do amazing things for you because it has that skill. But you have to create that skill, and there's some requirements to do so. I think it is so amazing that you're able to use Claude to generate the package to create the skill. Because otherwise you would have to know the context and like the procedure to do it, which is something else you'd have to learn, which to me, I'm like, oh, great, this new thing. Now I got to learn how to do this. To me, that's like a thing that would kill momentum.
But basically, like, so can you see this page that I'm sharing right now?
Yes.
So you can see that once I added this and what's in the skill, I don't have to go back to skills every time. I can just say, hey, I just added this um, I just added the skill. Can you make something amazing with that? And then I uploaded my CSV, and look at this beautiful thing that it creates, right?
Yeah.
So it's already formatted. It's ready to go. It's, I can just, it's a PDF. It looks professionally done. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to put it together. It's giving me the ready to go file. And then the cool thing is that I can edit my, like I said, trim the report in half. So I can edit my instructions to it, and it can overwrite certain things directly in the skill. So I don't have to go to my options or anything like that. I can just do it, here. Next time you need to run the skill, start a new chat and just say, I have this data, do your thing. And automatically recognizes that I already have a skill for this, and it works behind the scenes. And that's how it's doing the magic. So now my head is like, what other skills can I download? And again, I don't even have to worry about formats because I'm not a techie girl. It already did everything for me. All I have to do is review the instructions. But the cool news is that I can always tweak them later. So this is a pretty cool thing. What do you have to say about it?
I mean, it's just powerful. Now you can have your Claude account. You can create projects, and those projects presumably would use certain skills. And what you'll do if you run this over time is you will actually identify the skills that you need to do whatever it is you do. And it won't be as many as you probably think. It won't be some crazy number. There's only a few skills that you use, and it's really going to help you think about what you do in a much more procedural and sort of process-driven way, and really get a handle for what you do. I think we all kind of go about our lives and do what we do, but we haven't really put a lot of thought into what exactly are the pieces of what I do. And when you start to do it like this, and if you set your stuff up like this, as this stuff, all this AI continues to improve, if your stuff is already set up like this, soon you will be able to automate out these entire things.
I think
this is already somewhat automation. New levels are coming. If you are doing this already, you will be ready to win the second the new stuff becomes available.
this is a new future of delegation. I mean, I
Yeah.
literally have to think about this because I do practical AI thing every week, and it's a different project. I had a chat bot for it, but it will still take me about 20 minutes to do it. And this way, I have to just drop the report. It does its magic, and it spits it out exactly what I need for it to be. And I don't have to go column by column. I don't have to do anything. It's really, it's that cool. And I was kind of intimidated with the whole, like, the different file format. I have no idea what the MD is. I guess it's a markdown.
That's markdown, yeah.
But what the cool thing about it is that I asked Claude to help me create this. So it's kind of like the teacher taught me what it needs to be effective to give me what I need from it. So it was like a really
Right. Yeah, that's what I was pointing out earlier. Yeah, it's amazing.
It was a beautiful partnership, and I just thought that was very helpful and super awesome. I got this idea from Greg Eisenberg's show. He had Amir, I believe, on his show, and he walked through all the skills that he had, and I was like, oh, that's what they're using it for. It's not that complicated. And so it's kind of like, you don't have to have this massive skill. It could be anything. It could be marketing copy. It could be running a report. It could be preparing the report. It could be anything you want. But AI is kind of going to help you with figuring out what is the next thing that you need to replace.
Another note, Claude is the best AI right now with formatting. Like that document right there, the AI funding report, that formatting is great.
I mean, I actually had
so
to I couldn't copy and paste it to put in what I needed to do, and it gave me a markdown version, so I could, but it was literally ready to be downloaded as a PDF. And I was like, this is exactly what, like, this is so helpful for people that actually do the work, because you don't have to format anymore. You don't have to do anything. Like, it's already done. So you can just take it and look good, because it's very presentable.
Yep. And I think that skills project segment is a perfect segue into our next segment and the big takeaway that's going to be there. Let's jump into that one.
Yes, shall we? So the next segment of today is something that's it's sad, right? And so it's gruesome. Yes, it is, because I'm in recruiting and I don't like seeing layoffs, because it's a lot of lives that are being affected. And so this week was a crazy week. Layoffs, there was over 67,000 jobs that were affected between 7 major companies. So Amazon, Meta, UPS, GM, Rivian, Paramount, Applied Materials, they all made the cuts. And they all used very weirdly almost the same playbook and how they announced this. So they cited AI as the reason for a lot of those roles that were eliminated. Amazon cut 14,000 managers. That's 9% of their entire management layer. Meta, Applied Materials, software engineers, and specialized technical roles. UPS and GM and Rivian, operations and manufacturing workers, and multiple companies, HR, recruiting, and admin positions. So the patterns that we saw was there were 5 most common roles at every company. Do you want to pull up that slide?
Let's pull up that slide.
So why am I talking about this on the Practical AI show, right? Because here's the deal. People are saying AI is stealing our jobs and this and that. And I felt like this week, this kind of was sort of true. So Amazon literally didn't even dance around it. It said, AI is allowing us to remove layers of supervision that were previously required for quality control and coordination. They cut people for that efficiency, right? So if you look at the most common roles, like here's the counts that you have over here, and the reason, and then what are the roles were kind of eliminated. I mean, what do you think about this?
Well, so the pattern is that there was the same 5 roles at every company: middle managers, software engineers, operations workers, HR and recruiting, and specialized technical roles such as QA testing, route planning, CAD reviewers, things like that. What these roles all have in common in practice, not necessarily in title, but in practice, is that they are overseeing a process that needs to occur that involves multiple human parts. And their job is to make sure that things continue to move forward, that the process is actually flowing. That is more of a task checklist. Like, was this done? Okay, now this next thing has to be done. It's not a spark of human ingenuity sort of role. It is strictly managing the process and determining whether or not we started at A and got to B, so now we can get to C. That is just an analysis. It's like, have we done this? Yes or no? Well, then if we haven't done this, what needs to be done? Like, these are not high-level decisions that are being done.
Yeah, but at the same time, do you just cut people off? I mean, shouldn't you retrain them? Give them some kind of path? Literally, and the timing of it. I mean, look at the timing.
I think we like to make those arguments yes, that seems like the human thing to do, but the reality is no. These businesses aren't in the business of retraining people.
Here's the deal. Look at this week, right? So I looked at the last 15 weeks. I even looked at the quarter before that because there's very crazy that the same week hit so hard for so many people. And they're saying that it could be also the earnings call. They want to show that before the earnings call is happening for these companies, they want to show what they've done to prepare themselves with the cuts and the stock is going up for Amazon and the UPS and all that stuff. And so for me, I'm like, so they're doing this to show that they're making the changes. They're cutting people, they're cutting people. And then also is AI, I mean, Amazon wasn't even shy about it. They straight up said AI is more efficient at some of these things. And so goodbye. That's now what? So what are those people going to do?
I don't know, but let's they eliminated entire Q&A testing teams. Amazon's Q AI now handles it. Meta cut content moderation roles. AI is now flagging violations, suggesting stuff internally for that needs action. UPS replaced route planners. This is the most basic use case for AI ever. AI now optimizes routes. So for freight and logistics and things like that, AI can say, well, this will be the most efficient path. You don't need humans to do that. and applied materials, automated chip design validation. And that role was really just about compliance and regulation and making sure everything's within parameters that they can deal with. That, again, that's not complicated. That's just, there might be a lot of boxes to check, but the reality is if the more boxes there are to check, the better AI is going to be than a human in that role, because it's not going to forget things or leave things out. So what does this all mean? What does this all mean?
Yeah.
Here is the big takeaway. This is making it extremely clear about the actions and things humans must do to find a place in this world of AI.
Okay.
There are 3 skills that you need, or you need one of these 3 at a minimum to stay alive. Here they are. First, synthesis. Synthesis is bringing multiple pieces of information together to create something larger, or to have some new insight. You are combining things and figuring out new answers from that.
Yeah.
Synthesis is important. AI is nipping at your heels there. AGI is the promise that AGI will do synthesis better. We're not there yet. There's still a place for synthesis, and there's another corollary there.
We have a couple of years.
So synthesis, number 1. Number 2, associative thinking. Associative thinking is a far frontier for AI. It is not there yet. Associative thinking is a very high-level human activity. You are connecting dots that were not obvious before, and those can lead to new breakthroughs and new outcomes. Associative thinking is incredibly important. The highest one, so these are ranked, synthesis at the bottom, then associative thinking. The highest one is creation. Creation involves synthesis and associative thinking, and you're combining those things to literally pull the future into the present. If you can create, you can always survive. Creators will win. There is a 4th thing that combines all these. I like to think of this as the C-level executive suite version of these skills, and that is optimization. If you are going to optimize stuff that's happening, you're going to need to know a little bit of synthesis. You're going to need to engage in a little bit of associative thinking, and you might need to be creative in the way that you combine these things to produce more optimized outputs. But those are the 4 things, the 3 core skills plus like the 4th combined one of optimization. If you're not doing one of those things, if you're not making sure your kids are being, expertly trained in these areas, you're absolutely going to lose to AI. And I'm not really that sympathetic, because I feel like those things that I mentioned capture what is great about the human brain, the potential, and, pushing paper and moving along processes. And, like managers, what do? What are the biggest part of managers do? They're actually managing like psychologies of people and behavior.
Your favorite part.
Is that great? Like, I know we can feel like, oh, this was really important within our organization. Yeah, if you had a bunch of crappy actors who needed to be policed all the time. But, that's just not that high level of stuff. It's low level, and AI is kind of saying we must get away from low level stuff. We have to like level up our game and be the best versions of ourselves, which involves synthesis, associative thinking, and creativity. Those roles that were cut were thin on these qualities. Procedural just doesn't cut it anymore.
Well, I mean, I wonder, out of all those people who are losing their jobs, like, what do they think, right? Like, what's next for them? Can they get a job somewhere else, right? I like this. Now it's coming for white collar jobs and silence a crisis. Funny how disruption only matters when it hits our class. I mean,
when it was the blue collar laborers, nobody cared.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's called progress. Yeah,
look, I see class in a different way. To me, there's you don't use the spark of human ingenuity. You're not creatively thinking. Then you're a lower class. If you are doing the stuff, synthesis, associative thinking, creativity, then you're in the higher class. The best people I know have growth mindsets and are constantly shifting. They are uncomfortable with the status quo, and they will keep moving and maneuvering to find a way to move ahead.
Well,
those are the winners.
And you've given a pretty good formula for that, for sure. And so anyway, this is it's sad to see such a huge cut so fast, but I guess this could be the new norm.
So
right?
I saw a very compelling argument made this week that these cuts are not as much about AI as they are about a correction after the overhiring of 2021 and beyond. So going into COVID, there was a huge push for remote hiring and a whole bunch of roles that were captured. There was an argument made at the time that these were superfluous, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. It was a compelling argument. I'm not saying it's exactly the reason.
Listen,
I'm just saying that's out there too.
saying why now? Because we went from talking about AI, we need to do this, to now like literally companies are implementing a ton of that. And so, and Amazon again wasn't even shy about saying what's really happening over there, as much probably as other companies.
I mean, if I'm working in any of these companies, I am trying relentlessly pursuing ways for AI to cut out procedures and operations where human error is going to cost me and potentially cost customers. And depending on the business, the cost to customers could be like bodily harm, could be financial, could be distress. You know, there's all sorts of levels here.
I was shocked about software engineers and all that stuff, but anyway.
Oh, I got a rant here too. Sorry, quick rant. Software engineers, what a fake job title that is. What a fake job title that is.
What do you mean?
So many software engineers are literally parts of a bigger process. And then they hand something off, and this whole thing has to be, smashed together into a certain type of release for this company. So they're not, if you are a software developer and you are not seeing the whole picture, working with the entire architecture, understanding that if you tweak something over here, it tweaks something else over here, and all these things need to be adjusted. And if you don't have the ability to go make those other adjustments, if it's just like a team communication thing, you are just a cog.
Yeah.
And AI is coming for you. That is not software development. And you can put yourself to sleep at night with your $200,000 paycheck and tell yourself that you're a developer. You're not. You're not. You're just a procedural cog. You're just doing it with code. It's not any fancier than putting bolts on the car at the Ford factory. It's not.
All right. Anything else you have to say before we move on to their funding?
No, I had to get that out though.
Okay. Thank you for that. And last but not least, the star of the show, I guess. Not really, but this is, I used the new skill in Claude to do this, and it was delightfully fast. But do you want to pull up the slides?
It's time for funding.
Time for funding.
Let's have some funding.
So funding was the AI companies in the whole world. We're looking at about 65 this past week. Total is 1.4 billion. AI got about 32% of the total. And look at interesting how 43% were seed, which is kind of exciting. That means a lot of smaller companies are getting funded. They are between enterprise software, cybersecurity, and healthcare. So those are the sectors. Europe, obviously, United States is the winner, as always, 79%. And China reported some kind of funding with 46 million, which is 3%. And Europe is in that neighborhood too. So US is still rocking it with AI investment. And then what's interesting, move on to the next one. The top 5 startups this week were all but one out of US. So Electric Mind is Canada. So the winner was Mercor with 350 million. It's AI-powered recruiting platform matching talent with opportunities based on skills analysis rather than keyword matching.
Ma'am, do you need to talk to them?
I looked it up. It's a great idea in general, but I looked up their site, and it's again, they're not really solving the real problem. Like
$350 million is
it's huge. It's a
serious.
huge check. Good for them. It's exciting. We definitely need some improvement in the recruiting. But again, skills is it's such a past kind of thing to focus on, especially now with AI. We already saw that your skills can be replaced by Claude in no time. So, again, excited for them. I'm going to keep an eye on them. We'll see what happens. Number 2 was Sublime Security with 150. It's email security platform using AI to detect and block sophisticated phishing attacks. Perfumio.
Okay, you read Perfumio real quick.
Smart home fragrance device that adapts scents to user moods and preferences throughout the day. I'm sorry.
105 million?
What are we doing, Chris?
Okay.
I mean, what?
I've seen some posts for the last 2 weeks about people saying, are we in an AI bubble? And my response has been absolutely not. We're focused on infrastructure. the big picture is still unfolding. There's all these opportunities. We haven't even seen the emergence of a software environment with embedded AI. There's so much capture available. It's unreal.
Are you making fun of Perfumio?
And now I see Perfumio. And I think we might be in a bubble. This is the most bubble thing I've ever seen in my life. Smart home fragrance devices that adapt scents to users' mood and preferences throughout the day. Who's giving them 105 million? I might have to.
I don't know. It sounds so. I couldn't believe it. But moving on, Electric Mind, 100 million, AI consulting firm. Consulting, interesting, helping financial services companies integrate AI into operations. I like that. So we're moving into services, which is great. And then Conductor One, AI native identity security platform managing human, non-human, and AI agent, I guess, permission. So those are the winners. Go check them out. It's very interesting. And then the last but not least, in terms of trends, like I said, enterprise focus, over 50% of funding went to B2B solutions, cybersecurity dominance, seed stage momentum, healthcare automation, and there is some late stage funding as well. So those are the winners for the day. Somebody asked, oh yeah, slides available. It's a good idea for sure. We do use transcripts where we kind of put all the things that we talk about. But maybe we can figure out a way to put the slides up too.
Well, we don't do raw transcripts. It's like just, oh, Chris says this, Olga says this. That's lame. We do reader optimized transcripts, which is really kind of summarized and synthesized for you to have a more digestible thing to read. They're really nice. Check those out after the show. If you're on our mailing list, wink, 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 wink.
Yeah,
you will get those every week.
Thank
we'll
you.
send out an update with the reader optimized transcript.
Yeah, for sure. And I will be using Skill for that too, because right now I think I'm gonna convert all my ChatGPT bots to Skills. That's gonna be my next step for this week, because the bots are great, but man, Skills is next level. I am such a fan.
I've developed a nerdy understanding of how these skills and projects work based on my work with embedded AI prompts. And I see how they did it, how they're packaging this together. It's actually really nice. Like that project environment is really, really good. I might actually start using that to kind of augment my workflow. And then the skills thing is absolutely crucial. But so why they do this is so that they can cache these requests. So you're not burning a billion tokens every time you want to do something like this. It's really, really nice.
That actually
you can set up your own account to be optimized for you, which is, it's such a good thing they're doing there. Claude rocks.
That's actually a really good way. And then I was just intimidated because I was like, oh my God, I'm creating a skill. I'm not a developer or whatever. But it was so easy for the normal, average normie like me that is not very techy at all. It was pretty easy. Chris, let's wrap this up. What's the biggest takeaway from today?
Well, I mean, I think if we think about how does all this AI stuff affect me, I think you need to be focused on the three skills I mentioned. I think, synthesis, associative thinking, and creation are your best friends. And then the corollary thing, if you have those, you can engage in optimization in a way that can make you indispensable in this new landscape. But if you don't have that, you're cooked. And so, it's very important to redirect your focus and make sure your skill building and skill set is honed in on exactly those things. Yep. Next thing is try to start figuring out have an AI augmented workflow. If you do any sort of social stuff at all, or trying to build an audience in the current age of internet, you must have a social presence. That social presence must include very engaging imagery or videos. Short form videos is the GOAT right now. YouTube completely lives off this. Little insight. If you do YouTube shorts, a short that you publish lasts literally about 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's about the actual usable lifespan of a short. So you may have put all this effort into a 1 minute piece of video, 1 minute piece of content. If you're producing it the old way, you put all this work into it and you get 4 hours a run out of that. That is just not enough for most people. But if it costs you a lot to make one, that sucks. But if you can do these clips like with Opus Clip and get, 6 different things to try, you can publish 1 a day. Well, now you've got 6 times 4 equals 24 hours of run off of your clips, and you didn't have to do as much work. Like, that's key. You need to figure out these things you need to do to survive. Absolutely, go rewatch that Opus segment and get something like that into your workflow. as soon as possible. Ken could not agree more. I'm calling it the paper pusher apocalypse. It is upon us.
Yep. That's if early AI can do your job, it probably didn't need to exist. And we'll find out a lot of those jobs. And it's been fascinating to watch it this week kind of unravel. And again, it's also very sad because I know it's a lot of families that have been affected. And then my takeaway from today was the whole Opus Clips business model and how you don't have to own LLM. You can partner up with LLM and put some kind of your own spin on that and start creating a product. Because I believe Opus hit like 1 million users within the first couple of weeks or something crazy, because there's a pain. People need pain to be solved. Use AI to kind of wrap this around and solve the pain and create the users and look at their profits, right? And kind of that's a whole other conversation. But to me, it was fascinating to watch the AI business model and how that works, because you're literally buying AI power from those LLMs.
Right.
And who do you want to buy it from? That's another question. But
so whenever anything new is happening like AI, you always have these frontiersmen, these frontier operators who are creating great outcomes, but using a variety of components to do it. They are willing to do that because they want the outcome so badly. The business opportunities, such as Opus, is somebody coming in and wrapping those 5 things they're doing to do these crazy videos now into one thing. You turn 5 things into one, you can win.
Yep.
And those opportunities are always emerging. There's always a new one. You can always synthesize and combine. There's that word again. And there's opportunity all over the place like that now with AI.
Awesome. Well, any other last minute things? We're good.
Last thing, we love to hear what you guys are doing with AI as well. So like next week, I would love somebody to come back and say, here's my workflow thing that I'm using to enhance this. Here's the problem it's solving for me. That is amazing stuff to share. Everyone benefits. You know, we deal with what we deal with, but there's a lot more going on than that out there. We'd love to hear from you guys and to know what your workflow wins are with AI as well.
Yeah. Keith said yesterday, Affinity combined photo designer and publisher into V3 one app. They made it available for free. If you want AI to go with it, then you have to pay a subscription.
This is what you're going to see in the future. Keith absolutely nailed the model. You're going to see tons of freeware where if you want to add an AI enhancement layer and they'll show you great things you can do with it, then you will pay. And then the challenge of those businesses becomes how to get paid, how to make this a thing that they can actually monetize. And do you track token usage and have some credit system like Opus has? Or are the LLMs going to adjust and provide an affiliate type relationship where you buy credits from within that software and they get paid some percentage? We'll see how that landscape unfolds. The latter version is much easier for creators. Like if they just got paid a percentage, that would be so much easier technically. And the harder version is what Opus is doing, but they've got millions of dollars on the line and are funded, so they kind of have to solve that problem.
Yep. Well, I love the interaction. Thank you for bringing your comments. We're here for that. This adds to happiness to my day. And thanks for being here. And we will see you guys next Friday with another episode of Practical AI. See you later.
See you, everybody.
Weekend. Bye.